It's glad to have you joining us on NTA. We are reaching you live from the National Assembly, and precisely we are reaching you from the Red Chamber, which is the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. President of the Senate, Dr. Ahmad Lawan, is one presiding over the affairs of plenary today, Wednesday, 16th of February, year 2022. And of course, before we take you to the floor of the Senate, a quick take at some of the items that may be considered on the floor of the Senate today. As contained in the other paper, 5 bills may be presented on the floor of the Senate for first reading. Among the bill is the one that seeks to establish the National Center for Cancer and Treatment. And of course, another bill is expected to be considered for second reading, which deals with the Association of Accountants in Nigeria, sponsored by Senator Umar Sadiq. A motion is also coming from Senator Ibrahim Oloriegbe, representing Kwara Central. And of course, a number of other committees' report may be presented and considered on the floor of the Senate. These are short insight into what we may be expecting on the floor of the Senate today. We urge you to please stay with us and join us. My name is Dayo Ogunshola. We'll take you straight to the plenary.
The Anan and ICANN. I'm not an accountant, but as a lawyer, I'm learned enough to comment and, of course, make some further clarification on these very amendments. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the Anan College of Accountancy in Kwal, the institution that trains and prepares students of accountancy for the award of this chartered certificate in accountancy, is located in my constituency. And the Anan has further gone ahead to establish a university. And that university is also situated in my constituency, Plateau North of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is therefore with delight that I am lending my voice in support of the amendments that have been proposed in this bill by distinguished Senator Omar, and to commend him for these very amendments to the bill establishing Anan. As in supporting it, I also urge our colleagues to support the amendments so that it will not only strengthen the Anan, but that Anan will also go ahead to further expand its programs in the College of Accountancy and the university that has been so established. I support wholeheartedly these amendments and urge my colleagues to so do. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Barao Jibrin, Kano North.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Senator Barao Jibrin. I represent Kano North. Mr. President, permit me to commend the sponsor of this bill and to say that the bill is apt and appropriate. I also want to say that the work that Anan is doing in advancing the professional accountancy in this country cannot be overemphasized. Anan is doing very well, and I commend it, and I urge it to continue to advance the profession of accounting in this country. It's also commendable that this bill has brought forward certain amendments to be done to the Anan Act in order to make Anan, to allow its operation to go in tune with modernity. No matter how good is an entity, that entity has to change with the trend, with what is in vogue in whatever it's doing. So this bill is doing exactly what it's supposed to do by making sure that the operations of Anan is aligned to the current trend in the profession worldwide. It is therefore important to urge my colleagues, I don't want to go into specifics, because there are so many items that the bill intends to amend. So I don't want to go into specific, but all the amendments are okay, and by the time we move to the next stage of the process of the bill, we'll look at all those amendments on their merits. So I urge my colleagues to support this bill so that it will move to the next stage of his processing. I shall submit this.
Those in favor that this will be now read a second time, say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANA, Act Cap A, 26 Laws of the Federal Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and for other related matters, 2022, second reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANN, Act Cap A26, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and for other related matters, 2022, second reading taken. And the bill is referred to the Committee on Establishment and Public Service Matters for further legislative action to report back within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the second order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions on the screening of the nomination of Mrs. Emily Chidinma Osuji for appointment as Executive Director of the National Deposit Insurance Corporation. Distinguished senators will recall that the request of Mr. President was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 8 February 2022. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Ubasani, Chairman of the committee, to move a motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Ubasani, Kaduna Central.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, Ubasani, representing Kaduna Central. I rise to move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions on the confirmation of the appointment of Mrs. Emily Chidinma Osuji as Executive Director of the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC. I so move, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Betty Apiafi.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Betty Apiafi. I rise to second the motion that the Senate do take the report on the confirmation of appointment of Mrs. Emilia Chidinma Osuji as Executive Director of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Company. So second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions on the confirmation of the appointment of Mrs. Emily Chidinma Osuji as Executive Director of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Chairman, please lay the report. Chairman, we're waiting for you. You may present the report now.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I remain Senator Ubasani, representing Kaduna Central. The Senate, at its sitting on Tuesday, 8 February 2022, considered the request of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federation, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for the confirmation of appointment of Mrs. Emily Chiduma Osuji as Executive Director of the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC. I refer same to the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions for further legislative action. Committee action. The committee requested the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senate, to furnish it with the evidence of academic and professional qualifications, code of conduct, acknowledgement slip, and asset declaration, security clearance, and other relevant documents in respect of the nominee. Finally, at the end of the screening exercise of the nominee, the committee findings were as follows. 1, that the office of the Executive Director of Corporate Services of the corporation remains vacant following the end of the tenure of the previous occupant. 2, that the appointment is in accordance with the provision of Section 8 of the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation Act 2006. 3, that the nominee possesses the academic qualifications, technical knowledge, and professional experience to be the Executive Director of the Nigeria Deposit Corporation, NDIC. That the committee do not receive any petition against her nomination for the appointment as Executive Director of the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation. And 5, that the nominee has been cleared by the Nigerian Police, Department of State Services, DSS, and possesses Code of Conduct acknowledgement slip. Recommendation. The Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions, having screened the nominee and been satisfied with her experience, performance, and academic qualifications, hereby recommend that the Senate do confirm the nomination of Mrs. Emily Chiduma Osuji as Executive Director of the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC. Conclusion. The committee wishes to sincerely express its appreciation to the Senate for the opportunity to serve in this capacity. I so move, Mr. President.
Any comments? Leader, Committee of the Whole.
Mr. President, I rise to move that the Senate resolve the Committee of the Whole to consider the report. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate resolves into Committee of the Whole to consider the report, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate approve the nomination of Mrs. Emily Chiduma Osuji for appointment as the Executive Director of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I rise to move that the chair reports progress. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Chair, I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chair to report progress, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, consider the report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions on the screening of Mr. President's nominee for appointment as Executive Director of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, and approve the nomination of Mrs. Emily Chidinma Osuji as Executive Director of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. Confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mrs. Emily Chidinma Osuji for appointment as the Executive Director of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mrs. Emily Chidinma Osuji is hereby confirmed as Executive Director of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC. Congratulations, Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the third order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on National Identity and National Population on the screening of the following persons for appointment as Commissioners of the National Population Commission, NPC. Number 1, Chief Engineer Benedict Opong Efyong, FCSE, Akwa Ibom, Commissioner. Number 2, Mrs. Gloria Pattaya, Zonfu, Bayelsa, Commissioner. Number 3, Barrister Kupti Patricia Ori Inyanya, Benue, Commissioner. Dr. Halu Rubala, FCE, FNIMN, Kebi, Commissioner. Dr. Itayo Oyekule Oyetunji, Oyo, Commissioner. The distinguished senators will recall that the request of Mr. President Commander-in-Chief was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 15 December 2021. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the distinguished Senator Sahabi Alhaji Yau, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Sahabi Alhaji Yau, Zamfara North.
Thank you, Mr.
Distinguished Senator Id Gyang, go back to your seat. Sarkin yaƙi ina.
Representing Zamfara North Senatorial District, I rise to move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on National Identity and National Population on the confirmation of nominations of the following persons for appointment as Commissioners for National Population Commission. They are Chief Engineer Benedict Ufong Ifyong, FCSC, from Akwa Ibom as Commissioner. Ms. Gloria Pattaya Zonfu, Bayelsa, Commissioner. Number 3, Barrister Kupchi Patricia Ori Inyanya, from Benue, Commissioner. Number 4, Dr. Halu Rubala, FCE, FNIMN, from Kebbi State, as Commissioner. Number 5, Dr. Eitayo Oyekule Oyetunji, Oyo State, as Commissioner. I so move, Mr. President.
I need a seconder. Distinguished Senator Abdul Kwari, Kaduna North.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Suleiman Abdul Kwari. I represent Kaduna North. I rise, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, to second the motion that the Senate do receive the report of the Committee on National Identity and National Population for the confirmation of the nominations of appointment as commissioners for the National Population Commission. I so move.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on National Identity and National Population on the confirmation of the nominations of the persons named as commissioners for National Population Commission, NPCC, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may lay the report, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, please present the report.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleagues. The Senate on Wednesday, 15th December 2021, considers the request of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federation, on the confirmation of nomination of 5 persons for appointment as commissioners of National Population Commission. The 5 persons are Chief Engineer Benedict Ofong Efiong from Akwa Ibom, Ms. Gloria Pattaya Zonfu from Bayelsa State, Barrister Kufchi Patricia Ori Yenya from Benue State, and Dr. Hamiru Bala from Kebbi State. The last and not the least, Dr. Eitayo Oyekule Oyetunji from Oyo State. The committee thoroughly interviewed and considered the nominees based on the critical analysis, considering on their demeanors, special skill displayed, composure, education, mode of presentation, and their experience as the MPC in the last 5 years as commissioners. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I would want to tell you that all the 5 are returning nominees, and therefore we didn't find it difficult to screen them. And if you so permit me, Mr. President, I will want to go to our findings on the nominees.
You may proceed, please.
The first nominee we screened is Engineer Chief Benedict Ofong Efiong. The candidate found the following facts about, the committee found the following facts about this nominee. His date of birth was 9th August 1962 in Oru Efong Oruko in Akwa Ibom State. He is married with children. He has a very rich educational career and considered to be fit for the job. More especially, he is a returning commissioner. The second one is Ms. Gloria Pattaya Zonfu. The following facts were found about this nominee: that she was born on 20th August 1962 in Ebebiri, Beseni local government area of Yonagua, Bayelsa State. Her educational career started at Auntie Ayo Preparatory School, Ikoyi, Lagos State, and later joined Lagos Progressive School, Surulere, Lagos State. 1973 to 75, she was at New Era Girls Secondary School, Surulere, Lagos State. She later joined St. Jude's Girls Secondary School, Yanagua, River State, now Bayelsa. She went to River State School of Nursing, Port Harcourt, registered from 1979 to 82. She also obtained some certificates in United States of America.
Chairman, I think because we have these documents, we don't have to go through schools they attended because we can read them on our own. Yeah, you can go to.
Mr. President, I go to the recommendation. The committee has diligently screened the following nominees and found them suitable, and hereby recommends them for confirmation as commissioners of the National Population Commission. Chief Engineer Benedict Effiong, Akwa Ibom, Ms. Gloria Pattaya Zonfu, Bayelsa State, Barrister Kufchi Patricia Ori Iyanya, Benue State, Dr. Haliru Bala from Kebbi State, Dr. Eitayo Oyenkuli from Oyo State. Our prayers, Mr. President, that the Senate do confirm the nomination of the 5 nominees as commissioners of the National Population Commission. Conclusion, Mr. President, the committee appreciates the Senate leadership and distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the opportunity given to us to serve. We so submit and say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Any comments? Leader, Committee of the Whole, please.
Mr. President, I rise to move that this Senate resolves in the Committee of the Whole to consider this report. I so.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to second the motion that the Senate do resolve to the Committee of the Whole to consider this report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate resolves into Committee of the Whole to consider the report, say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. Approval. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Chief Engineer Benedict Okpong Effiong, FCSE, from Akwa Ibom State as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Mrs. Gloria Pattaya Zonfu from Bayelsa State as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Barrister Kupchi Patricia Ori Iyanya from Benue State as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Dr. Haliru Bala, FCE, FNIMN from Kebbi State as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Dr. Eitayo Oyekule Oyetunji from Oyo State as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I rise to move the motion that this distinguished chamber resumes plenary for the chair to report progress. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chair to report progress, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, considered the report of the Committee on National Identity and National Population on the screening of Mr. President's nominees for appointment as Commissioners for National Population Commission, NPC, and approved the nominations of Chief Engineer Benedict Okpong Effiong, FCSE, from Akwa Ibom State Commissioner, Mrs. Gloria Pattaya Zonfu, Bayelsa State Commissioner, Barrister Kupchi Patricia Ori Iyanya, Benue State Commissioner, Dr. Hallur Bala FCE FNIMN, Kebbi State Commissioner, Dr. Tayo Oyekule Oyetunji from Oyo State Commissioner. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. We go to confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Chief Engineer Okpong Effiong, FCSE, from Akwa Ibom State as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Chief Engineer Benedict Okpong Effiong, FCSE, from Akwa Ibom State is hereby confirmed as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mrs. Gloria Pattaya Zonfu from Bayelsa State as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mrs. Gloria Pattaya Zonfu from Bayelsa State is hereby confirmed as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Barrister Kupchi Patricia Ori Iyanya from Benue State as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Barrister Kupchi Patricia Ori Iyanya from Benue State is hereby confirmed as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Hallur Bala FCE FNIMN from Kebbi State as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Hallur Bala FCE FNIMN from Kebbi State is hereby confirmed as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Tayo Oyekule Oyetunji from Oyo State as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Tayo Oyekule Oyetunji from Oyo State is hereby confirmed as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC. Congratulations to all of them, and the Senate wishes them very fruitful and successful tenure in office. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fourth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Power on the screening of the following persons for appointment as commissioners for the Nigerian Electricity Regulation Commission, NAC. Number 1, Dr. Yusuf Ali from North Central. Number 2, Engineer Chide Ike from Southeast. Number 3, Mr. Nathan Shakti from Northeast. Number 4, Mr. Dafe Akpeneye from the South-South. Distinguished senators will recall that the request of Mr. President Commander-in-Chief was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 9 February 2022. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Gabriel Tosua Susuma, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Gabriel Susuma, Benue Northeast.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, arise. I am Dr. Gabriel Suswam, Benue Northeast. I rise to move a motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report on the screening of presidential nominees for the confirmations as commissioners for Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Mr. President, I so move.
Distinguished Senator Sam Egu. I was looking for a former governor.
Senator Sam Egu, I represent Ebonyi North Central District. I rise to move that the motion to second. I rise to second.
Distinguished colleagues, please, the chamber is noisy, please. Can we go back to our seats, please? Let's listen in silence, please. Thank you very much. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Power on the confirmation of the nomination of the persons named as commissioners for the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The chairman lay the report, please. You may present the report, but maybe you give us an abridged presentation of it. Yeah.
Mr. President, on Wednesday, 9th February 2002, the Senate at plenary sitting considered a request by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the confirmation of the following nominees as commissioners for NEC: Dr. Yusuf Ali, Engineer Chidi Ike, Mr. Nathan Shati, and Mr. Dafe Akwe Neya as commissioners for NEC. Mr. President, the President's request was referred to the Committee on Power, and the Committee on Power met to screen the persons so aforementioned. Mr. President, the screening exercise of the underlisted nominees, Mr. Dafe, Engineer Chidi, Dr. Yusuf Ali, and Mr. Nathan Shati, for all four commissioners, took place on Monday, Mr. President. In the screening exercise, members of the committee interacted, questioned rigorously the nominees for the positions of commissioner at NEC, and at the end of the screening exercise, the committee have this finding. You go to page 9 for the findings of the committees. Page 9. Findings and observations of the committee. 1, that all the screen nominees have the relevant experience to be so appointed as commissioners. That the nominees were articulate in their response to the questions raised during the screening exercise. That the committee review a petition. There was a petition against one of the nominees from the North Central. And the petition was on the basis that he was not from North Central, and so he cannot be so appointed to represent the North Central. After a thorough review and questioning of the nominee, that petition was dismissed on the basis of lack of merit, and that petition was considered baseless and of no effect. Mr. President, 4, that security checks did not reveal any negative information against any of the nominees. Mr. President, we go to recommendation on page 10. In view of the foregoing, the committee recommends that the underlisted nominees be confirmed. Dr. Yusuf O. Ali as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, North Central. Engineer Chidi Ike as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulation Commission, Southeast. Mr. Dafesi Akweneye as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, South-South. Mr. Nathan Rogers Shati as Commissioner of Nigerian Electricity Commission, Northeast. Mr. President, if we look at it, there's a slight mix-up. That can be corrected. Why Nathan is Northeast, they are put in South-South. South-South, they put in Northeast. I think those are minor corrections that can be done. Prayers, Mr. President, that the Senate do consider the report of the committee and approve its recommendations. I so submit, Mr. President.
Any comments? Leader of the Senate, comment on.
Mr. President, I rise to move that the Senate resolves the committee of the whole to consider the report of the committee.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate resolves into committee of the whole to consider the report, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Approval. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Dr. Yusuf Ali, representing North Central, as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Engineer Chidi Ike, representing Southeast, as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Mr. Nathan Shati, representing Northeast, as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Mr. Dafe Akpeneye, representing South-South, as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Leader, progress report.
Mr. President, I rise to move that the Senate reverts to committee, to plenary for the chair to report progress. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate reverts to plenary for the chair to report progress, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, considered the report of the Committee on Power on the screening of Mr. President's nominees for appointment as commissioners for the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission and approved the nominations of Dr. Yusuf O. Ali, North Central, Engineer Chidi Ike, Southeast, Chairman, did you Correct that thing? The mix-up between Akpene and Shati? Okay. Mr. Dafe C. Akpene, South-South. Mr. Nathan Rogers Shati, Northeast. As commissioners for the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. Confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Yusuf Ali, representing North Central, as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Yusuf Ali, representing North Central, is hereby confirmed as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Engineer Chidi Ike, representing Southeast, as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Engineer Chidi Ike, representing Southeast, is hereby confirmed as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mr. Nathan Shati, representing Northeast, as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mr. Nathan Shati, representing Northeast, is hereby confirmed as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Mr. Dafe Ekpene, representing South-South, as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mr. Dafe Ekpene, is representing South-South, is hereby confirmed as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Congratulations to all of them. And the power sector in Nigeria is still very much challenged, and this country cannot make any serious, sustainable progress in terms of industrialization without stable and reliable power supply. So we hope that this set of commissioners will bring their experiences to bear in their respective tenures as they work as commissioners in the NERC. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fifth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund on the Federal University of Agriculture, Info, Enugu State Establishment Bill 2022. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read and referred to the committee on Wednesday, 23rd June 2021. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Tolu Odebi, who is to represent distinguished Senator Ahmed Babaketa, the chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Tolu Odebi, Ogun West.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I'm Tolu Odebi, representing the good people of Ogun West. I'm presenting the report on behalf of the chairman of the committee, Senator Baba Keita Ahmed. I rise to move that the Senate do receive and consider the reports of the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal University of Agriculture, Umpu, Enugu State, and other matters connected therewith, Bill 202. I so move.
Yes.
I need a seconder. Distinguished Senator Bello Mandia, Katsina South.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Bello Mandia, I represent Katsina South. I rise to second the motion as moved by Senator Tolu Obiedi. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Fund on the Federal University of Agriculture, Ampu, Enugu State, Establishment Bill 2022, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Chairman, you may lay the report, please. Chairman, you may present the report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me just quickly run through a summary of the observations and then go to the recommendation. From the views expressed by the stakeholders at the public hearing and subsequent analysis of both oral and written presentations of memoranda, the committee hereby makes the following observations. The stakeholders who made both written and oral submissions at the public hearing unanimously subscribed to the content of the draft bill and unequivocally supported the passage of the bill by the National Assembly. The establishment of the Federal University of Agriculture, Enugu State, will no doubt provide the required manpower needs of Nigeria in the areas of agriculture, practices, food security, sufficiency, and a booster for foreign exchange earnings. 3. Also, the establishment of the Federal University of Agriculture, Enugu State, will serve as an enabler for exploration of agricultural potentials and natural endowment beneath the soil, with consequential benefits to the host communities and promotion of cutting-edge research, development, and productive skills in agriculture, engineering, livestock, aquatic, horticulture, etc. 4. The knowledge and skills that will be required by the would-be graduates from the envisaged University of Agriculture in Enugu State will go a long way in expanding and deepening the horizon for the prospective students and definitely enhance utilitarian innovation in agricultural practice while contributing to the national development. Hence, the need for the Senate to consider and approve this legislative proposal for the benefits of humanity. Recommendation. The Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Fund, to which this bill was referred, have carefully considered same, hereby recommends as follows. That the Senate Committee do consider and pass the bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Agriculture, Enugu State, and for other matters connected therewith, as recommended. Conclusion. In conclusion, I wish to use this opportunity to thank the President of the Senate, my distinguished colleagues for the opportunity to serve in this capacity, and to humbly request that the Senate do pass this bill. I so move.
Distinguished Senator Chukwuka Utazi, Enugu North.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to second this motion for the acceptance of this report that will lead to the third reading of this very report. And I want to thank my committee on the Third Fund, the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Fund for being timers in handling this bill.
I'm in total agreement with everything concerning this bill, which seeks to establish Federal University of Agriculture, Zonfu, Enugu State. And I want to say that if this Senate graciously accede to the passage of this bill, and then plead with Mr. President to be expeditious in giving his assent, this bill will go a long way in making sure that the food belt of Enugu State in the Enugu West Senatorial District will be enhanced greatly. It will create employment. It will make people to move from the level of subsistence farming that are presently in to being informed, to be in tune with the latest in technology, which the university will afford them. Having said so, Mr. President, I say that I'm totally in support of this bill and ask that you call for the third reading. Thank you so much.
Any more contributions? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that this Senate resolves into the Committee of the Whole to consider this report. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Thank you very much, Minority Leader. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate resolves into Committee of the Whole to consider the report, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. This bill has 34 clauses and it's a standard bill for establishment of a tertiary institution. So I will be a little bit fast. Senator Abiodun Olujimi, you are welcome back. We are on your side. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that clause 1, clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, clause 4, clause 5, functions of the Chancellor and Pro-Chancellor stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 6 is on page 6, establishment and composition of council. Those in favor at clause 6, clause 7, clause 8, clause 9, functions of the Vice Chancellor, and clause 10, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, you are welcome. Well, if you want this one signed, so you know what to do, don't you? Clause 11 is on page 11. Those in favor that clause 11, clause 12, clause 13, clause 14, and clause 15 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 16 is on page 14, the visitor. Those who are at clause 16, clause 17 on page 15, clause 18, clause 19, and clause 20 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those vote at clause 21, clause 22, clause 23, clause 24, and clause 25 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. You should have a permanent seat on that side. Clause 26, quorum and procedure of bodies established by this bill, on page 21. Those who vote at clause 26, clause 27, clause 28, clause 29, and clause 30 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who vote at clause 31 and clause 32 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who vote at the interpretation on page 25 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who vote at the short title stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who vote at clauses schedules 1, 2, and 3 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who vote at the explanatory memorandum on page 50 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who vote at the long title on page 1 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate, thank you for that full participation.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the chair resumes plenary for the chair's own progress of the bill.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Those in favor that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chair to report progress, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Deputy Chief Whip. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund on the Federal University of Agriculture, Ampu, Enugu State Establishment Bill 2022 and approved as follows: long title as recommended, clause 1 to 32 as recommended, interpretation as recommended, short title as recommended, schedules as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I rise to move that this bill be read the third time. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that this bill be now read the third time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal University of Agriculture, Enugu State, and for other matters connected therewith. 2022, third reading.
A bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal University of Agriculture, Ampu, Enugu State, for other matters connected there with 2022 third reading taken, and the bill is passed. And congratulations to Enugu State, particularly the immediate past Deputy President of the Senate, Ike Koa. And of course, you need to do the needful at the next stage. I can be a consultant free of charge. Thank you very much, distinguished colleagues. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, The sixth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee of Agriculture and Rural Development on the Federal College of Crop Science and Food Technology, Lere, Kaduna State Establishment Bill 2022. The distinguished senators will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 23rd February 2021. Mr. President, before I invite distinguished Senator Abdullahi Adamu to present the report, I would like to bring the attention of this Senate to recent clarification that we have made on all areas of tertiary education, that the presenter should be the committee of first instance, should be the Committee on Tertiary Education and TED Funds, with the subject matter committee as an adjunct committee. But this particular report was presented to the committee, possibly in error, early 2021. So with this clarification, we want to formalize the earlier decision of this Senate that in future consideration of tertiary education institutions, the primary committee should be the Committee on Tertiary Education and TED Fund. But with this in mind, I would like, with your permission, to invite distinguished Senator Abdullahi Adamu, Chairman of the Committee of Agriculture, to move a motion for the presentation and consideration of this report. That's all, move, sir.
Distinguished Senator Abdullahi Adamu.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues, it's my pleasure to present the report for the Senate Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development on a bill to provide for the establishment of the Federal College of Crop Science and Food Technology, Lere, Kaduna State, and for other related matters, 2021 SB 120. Mr. President.
I need a seconder. Yes, distinguished Senator Mohamed Adamu Alero.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Mohamed Adamu Alero, representing good people of Kebbi Central. I rise to second the motion ably moved by Senator Abdullahi Adamu, the Trakilafia. I so move.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development on the Federal College of Crop Science and Food Technology, Lere, Kaduna State, Establishment Bill 2022, SB 160, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Chairman, you may let the report. Chairman, you may present the report.
Thank you very much. Excellency, Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I remain Senator Abdullahi Adamu, and I represent Nasarawa Senatorial District. Report of the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development on a bill to provide for the establishment of the Federal College of Crop Science
and Food Technology area, Kaduna State, and for related matters 2021 SB 120. Introduction. The Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, at its sitting on Tuesday, 23rd February 2021, read for the second time the bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Crop Science and Food Technology, Kaduna State, 2021, SB 120 and 160, and report same to the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development for further legislative action by Senate order of reference dated Wednesday, the 24th of February 2021, and to report back with recommendations. Objectives of the bill. The core objective of the bill is to provide a legislative framework to support the establishment of the Federal College of Crop Science and Food Technology, Kaduna State, as a specialized higher institution aimed at training and nurturing career agriculturists with a view to developing researchers in the agricultural value chain. The legislative framework designed for the college seeks to offer higher national diploma, HND, ordinary national diploma, OND, and other certification in the areas of its core subjects of interest on both full-time and part-time basis. In specific terms, this legislative proposal aims to achieve the following. And then we set up the methodology for doing so. And then we give the highlights of the public hearing. And this is a legislative summary. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, at this juncture, I wish to inform you that the inference drawn by the committee at the end of this legislative exercise is informed by the fact that this bill has received overwhelming support of the committee members and the relevant stakeholders across the country. Similarly, the committee has critically perused the provisions of the bill vis-à-vis presentations made by stakeholders. Below is a summary of further input the committee has made on the bill presented here for your consideration and approval. Firstly, the committee holistically reviewed all the provisions in the bill, taking into consideration the provisions of similar legislations on the subject matter. We also modified some of the clauses of the bill to conform with normative legislative drafting styles. Editorial corrections were carried out extensively on the provisions of the bill to ensure that the right terminologies for a College of Agriculture were used. So we went through the clauses, and you see on page 5 the observations. The establishment of the Federal College of Crop Science and Food Technology, Kaduna State, would certainly serve as a tool for facilitating economic, social, and cultural development of the community and the nation at large. Establishing the Federal College of Crop Science and Food Technology in Kaduna State will no doubt provide the required practical experience for agriculturists with keen interest in specialized feed production to the desired food value chain, from standard produce packaged for exportation rather than selling raw materials and thereafter importing finished products. Federal College of Crop Science and Food Technology, when established, will certainly go a long way in supporting agricultural education, training, instruction, and research in some specialized crops grown here. Therefore, establishing the Federal College of Crop Science and Food Technology in Kaduna State, can be described as a timely intervention and giant step to encourage the people of Lere and its environs in productive agricultural education to achieve economic stability, wealth creation, and zero hunger through production of specialized crops. Recommendations. The Senate Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development to which the bill was referred, having considered same, do hereby recommend as follows: that the Senate do consider and pass the Federal College of Crop Science and Food Technology, Kaduna State, Establishment Bill 2021. I so move. Finally, we wish to use this opportunity to thank Mr. President and very distinguished colleagues for the opportunity to serve in this capacity and to recommend the passage of this bill by the Senate. So do.
Any comments? Leader, Committee of the Whole.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, before I move this motion, I would just want to ask the committee to correct the signature of the clerks. The clerk, at the time when this report was presented to the Senate, is Muhammad Sani Abdullahi. So the one to sign or the other the submission on the endorsements by other clerk should not be the former clerk who is Fortune Uwamudienyi. That editorial has to be done by the Secretariat so that we don't get ourselves in a mess. With that, I would like to move the motion that this Senate resolves in the Committee of the Whole to consider this report.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You can continue to sit there. I know you are consulting, and especially when you have to consult Senator Emmanuel Bacha. Yes, you have selected the right person to consult. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to second the motion that the Senate do resolve the Committee of the Whole to consider this report. Thank you.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate resolves into Committee of the Whole to consider the report, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, this bill has 29 clauses, and again, it's just a standard format of the bill to establish a tertiary institution. Those in favor that clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, establishment and constitution and membership of the council, clause 4, and clause 5 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those for say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. What is Senator Shehu Sani? Ubasani. This is bill. Okay, no problem. Clause 6 is on page 8. Those who vote at clause 6, tenure of office of the registrar, clause 7, clause 8, clause 9, and clause 10 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 11, clause 11 is on page 22. Resignation of appointment of principal officers. Those who vote at clause 11, clause 12, clause 13, clause 14, clause 15 on page 26, the academic board stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 16 is on page 28, removal from office of members of council and the provost. Those who are at clause 16, clause 17, clause 18, clause 19, and clause 20 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 21 on page 40, funds of the council. Clause 22, clause 23, clause 24, and clause 25 power to make bylaws on page 42. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 26 and clause 27. Those in favor that clauses 26 and 27 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the interpretation on page 47 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the short title stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the schedules on page 47 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the long title on page 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I rise to move that the chair reports progress. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate reverse the plenary for the chair to report progress say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development on the Federal College of Crop Science and Food Technology, Lere, Kaduna State Establishment Bill 2022, and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, clause 1 to 27 as recommended, interpretation as recommended, short title as recommended.
For staying with us. 5 bills passed first reading at Senate's plenary today, and President Muhammadu Buhari's letter seeking the confirmation of appointment of Mr. Olugbenga Adeyanju, a retired AIG from Ekiti State, as commissioner representing Southwest to replace the earlier nominee at the ICPC was read by President of the Senate. Also at plenary, Senate received, considered, and confirmed 4 nominees as commissioners for the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Again, at plenary, Senate confirmed the appointment of 5 nominees as commissioners for National Publishing Commission. These are the highlights of today's plenary at Senate. On behalf of the entire Hausa broadcast crew, we thank you for being with us as I now hand you over to our studio for continuation of our scheduled programs.
NTA, you can't beat the rich. NTA Sports 24, where sports drive.
Did you get to see the way Daily Babadu pulls this? Don't forget to send in your messages.
There's a difference between picking child and issue. The idea that is can do more with less people.
If we have a better way of addressing these issues, taking care of...
Congratulations, you were able to sign Timo Werner from RB Leipzig.
So you take water before your workout.
People have used their phone, using TikTok to do this.
Should I go for test?
A lot of people don't even have resources.
I'm Cecil, and this is the Medley Show on NTA.
Fellow compatriots, if no single tribe or religion has defeated poverty, then no single tribe or religion can develop Nigeria. The success story of every state and capital is the contribution of every tribe and religion. Our Nigeria no be wazobia, no majorities or minorities. Every tribe and every religion still dey hustle for naira when no get tribe or religion. So, my country people, let's join this movement that says Naira no get tribe and use the Naira to develop our Naira land. Citizens first. Citizens before state of origin. Citizens before your religion. Citizens before your ethnic belonging. For participation, call 0902 739 5555.